What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming. I don't know if you can tell, but I've got a big, dirty, shit-eating grin on my face right now. So, you may remember that as of the time of recording this video on the 17th of October 2017, now you may see this in 2039 for all I know, but the point I'm trying to make is that 11 days ago, on the 6th of October, I made a video. And in this video, I very quickly and briefly detailed why I dislike EA and why they have completely changed from what they used to be, and one of the main reasons I don't support them. Now, that video will be in the description below, which I highly suggest you watch because it's as big as the situation and the topic is. It's a very brief history and overview of it, but I think it sums it up all perfectly, basically. Now, you may be wondering, what does that have to do with anything, and why am I bringing that up? And, well, let's see. 11 days ago, when I detailed why EA is different from way back in the day versus the cold, soulless corporate machine that they are now, I mentioned a couple of specific reasons why I hated them. Namely, they would take good companies, good development studios I should say, and good franchises. Then what they would do is they would run them into the ground by bastardizing and homogenizing, to use my own words and my own phrases, these games into what I can only call the most dumbed down possible form of the game to try and, quote, appeal to the widest audience, unquote. And then, of course, what happens is the game no longer resembles the series that we know and love and has been dumbed down and bastardized completely to the point where it feels like something completely different. And it can't be enjoyed in the same line. Let's take a couple of quick examples. I used Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor series used to be fantastic, kind of went very far downhill, and now it's officially shelved. They bought up BioWare after Mass Effect 1 did so well, then Mass Effect 2 did pretty good, Mass Effect 3 went down in history, Mass Effect Andromeda, enough said. Put it this way, Mass Effect is officially shelved after the state of Andromeda and the reception it got, and, well, just overall being shite. Again, sticking with BioWare, we have Dragon Age Origins, great game. Of course, then EA got their hands on them. Dragon Age 2. Yeah, it's kind of legendarily bad at this point. It doesn't even feel like a Dragon Age game. It's like a hack and slash for the most basic players. Dragon Age Inquisition is supposedly better than 2, but again, to quote myself, walking face first into a wall is better than Dragon Age 2. So those are just some of the examples I gave. Actually, real quick, there's the whole Sims Maxis thing as well, but that's a whole other story to talk about. Now, so why am I bringing all that up, and why is all that completely relevant? Well, there is one other thing I left out when I included it in my old video, but there's one thing I left out right now when I was giving the brief overview of the brief overview. So, Jesus, what would that be? But I specifically mentioned how, well, we all know what EA have done with studios in the past, and with IPs in the past, and series in the past. I specifically mentioned how Dead Space and Visceral Studios was probably a good example. For the simple reason is, Dead Space 1 was a great game. Visceral Studios didn't need any help with the game, and they didn't have any EA involvement with the development. They literally just needed a publisher. EA, of course, was that publisher. After they saw how well received and sales-wise Dead Space 1 did, EA bought Visceral Games. They released Dead Space 2. Wasn't as good as the first one. It felt a bit EA-ified. You could tell that they were trying to go over the top, in your face, which is very EA style. Again, it was not EA 2. Dead Space 2. God, imagine EA 2. Dead Space 2 wasn't a bad game. It was just not as good as the first one. And then, of course, there's the whole Dead Space 3 incident, which got the series shelved. There's the whole, I won't call it crossover, but there's the whole Mass Effect-ify it, and there's all the stories and rumours and whatever going around from ex-devs of the studio about how EA executives came in and just said, no, change that, make it more like Mass Effect. And, well, the game turned out to be more like Mass Effect 3. And, yeah, the game is panned shit, and, well, the series in general has been officially shelved. So, here we are, 6 minutes into the video almost, like 5.5 in around this point, I'd say. And it came out today. EA have officially announced the closure of Visceral Studios. That's right, the studio they bought just so they could get a hold of the Dead Space IP, which they proceeded to run into the ground, shelve, and now shut down the studio. it just feels so vindicating. Vindicating is not even the right word. It just feels so pertinent that I released that video 11 days ago and specifically used the other examples as well as Dead Space and Visceral Studios. This makes me really sad and happy in two ways. One of each, of course. It's sad because we won't see any more Dead Space games. Although if they were to be Dead Space games, anything like EA makes Dead Space games, it's probably for a good thing we don't have that. And it's obviously shit to see someone lose their job and see a whole studio be shut down and lose their identity and lose their jobs, basically. On the plus side, it gives me even more ammo against EA. And it gives me even more... I won't say justification, it makes it even sweeter just to know the fact that I don't give EA money. I don't play EA games. I don't buy EA games. And this is why I hate them as a studio for what they do. Sure, I understand business is business and I know how it works, but that doesn't matter. I'm not an investor. I'm not one of the suits. I'm not one of the people whose bottom line this affects. I'm on the opposite end. I'm one of the ones who's losing potential product, who's losing a potential experience, potential enjoyment. That's the side of it I'm coming from. And I look at this publisher, EA, I see what they've done to my favorite studios, some of my favorite studios, and some of my favorite series, and it just makes me raise that middle finger, and I put my wallet back in my pocket, and I give it to someone else. I give it to someone like Squaresoft, Square Enix, whatever, CD Projekt Red, whoever, Atlas, Sega, Nintendo, Microsoft. But you know who I don't give money to? Electronic Motherfucker Arts. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you think about this whole situation. Again, I don't usually plug my own videos, but I really suggest you check out that other one if you haven't already, just because it details everything I've said in this video much more, and it gives a much better explanation on it, so you can understand why I feel the way I do. And it gives a better insight on the whole thing. Anyway, even if you don't watch that video, you can still get the gist of it from this one. And let me know in the comment section below what you think with the whole situation. Do you think they're scum? Do you hate them? Have you previously hated them? Do you hate them now? Because you'll probably never get a new Dead Space. There's also the whole thing with the Star Wars game that was being developed by Visceral Studios, which is now going to be shifted to someone else and completely refocused and basically started over from scratch. It sounded more like a generic third-person shooter game, story-driven game. Now it sounds like they're kind of probably looking for like a Destiny or a Borderlands or something, which is kind of strange considering that they already have Anthem. But well, I suppose 2 is probably better. 2 succeeding is probably better than 1, but it's EA. Probably neither of them will succeed. Anyway, let me know all of that in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you hate EA just as much as I do, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.